Hello. I really don't know how I should really start off with this video, but a couple months ago I was diagnosed with what they call congestive heart failure. And to pretty much explain what it is, have you ever been really short of breath on activities that really that I guess they seem inconsequential to that would make you feel a short of breath, or you take a few steps and you feel like you're about to pass out, you just can't really catch a breath and stuff like that. That's basically what it is. But your heart isn't pumping enough blood throughout your body, and eventually you your body can't push out enough fluid in your body, so eventually it builds up. It starts to build up in your body. It starts down in your legs. Whenever you start to see your legs start to get swollen, and if you let it go for too long, eventually it'll start working its way up your body, and it'll make it harder for your heart to pump. And eventually that fluid will build up in your stomach and eventually work its way up into your lungs. And that's when you really get to the point where you can't breathe. Very, very dangerous stuff. I've always been the guy who wasn't one for dealing with doctors and going to hospitals and stuff like that. I admit it. Because I always felt that it was just a waste of money and just way too expensive. But for something like that, it will make you break down and have to do it. Have to go take that plunge. I still kind of regret it now, but I've always wanted to know what was happening with me, because I had to quit my job for the second time, and then a 2-year period, for the exact same thing, the exact same symptoms. And I was a cart pusher for Walmart at the time. But I had noticed that I had progressively gotten worse over a couple weeks while I was working, to where I couldn't I didn't seem to have the stamina that I used to have. That doing things that normal things that I would consider normal, that I didn't really have the capacity to do anymore, because I couldn't breathe. But where was I going with that? I noticed I couldn't sleep. I couldn't. I just didn't know what was going on. I eventually went. I eventually broke down and went, because I got to the point where, after I had quit my job for the second time this year, so it was back in the 11th of August of 2024. I was forced to have to just go ahead and quit my job, because I just couldn't breathe. I couldn't do my job anymore. And at that point, I still didn't want to go to the doctor, even though everybody kept telling me I need to just go. I was still totally against it. Long story short, over a span of about 2 weeks later, I got to the point that I just could not sleep. I was up, literally, for a good 2 weeks before I finally broke down. I had to break down and go to the hospital. That's how bad it was. That's how bad that this congestive heart failure, that I didn't know what it was at the time, but that's how bad it got. I couldn't lay down on my back, heck, without breathing heavy. I couldn't sleep. My heart was like I was just struggling for air, man. Like, man, all day long, all night long. Like, it would be to the point, like, I was barely getting any sleep, up to the point where I was just so tired that, like, I would literally, like, pass out and I wouldn't even remember falling asleep. And I'd probably be out for maybe about an hour, and, like, maybe not even that. Like, I just, like, doze off, and it was kind of, you know how, like, whenever you just dozing off and then you wake back up and you like jolted back awake. Like, that's what I was dealing with. That's how bad it got. But I dealt with that for a good 2 weeks. But I've been dealing with those symptoms for even longer than that. But that I go to the hospital, and the first time they misdiagnosed me, they said I had bronchitis, and then they said I had asthma. So I got the inhaler, and I took the antibiotic they gave me and stuff, and I felt pretty good for a couple days. And then I ended up having to go back because the same symptoms came back again. And then when I went the last time before I got diagnosed with congestive heart failure, it was they finally did they put the EKG on me, and then they did a echocardiogram, and then they put me in the little MRI machine thing or whatever. And that's when they came back to me with the diagnosis. Very, very devastating. Like, but I finally understood what it was that kept causing me to have those problems. I'm sorry that I rambled on so far so much for now, but I just wanted to truly give people an understanding of what this is, like, and how devastating it is, how much of a toll it can take on your life. But the long story short is that it turned out that I was 358 pounds at the time. I never really been one to really care about my weight and stuff. Never really cared about it at all. And I was always looking back on it now, like I was a pig, man. Like I was looking at like all the things I was eating every day, making all day, and how much I was eating and stuff. I didn't really think much of it because I was pushing carts all day. I figured, well, like whatever I was eating, like I was burning off, and I thought I was like healthier than what I was. But apparently not. Now at this point, but when I started out, when I went and saw my cardiologist for the first time on September the 19th. And that's when he told me he told me more about the congestive heart failure and stuff, and like, and the things I needed to do about it and stuff, and so I needed to lose weight, and I needed to go on what they call the DASH diet, where you just eat baked foods and fruits and vegetables and like nuts and berries and stuff like that, and like stay away from the fried foods and stay away from everything that was high in sodium content. So I pretty much like had to quit cold turkey, like all the things that I normally eat stuff. And believe me, it was a very, very difficult experience. I had a difficult time, like, getting accustomed to it. But I will say, like, the very next day, September 20th, 2024, is when I started my weight loss journey. Just walking, just walking around for hours. I pop on a podcast or something like that, or things I'd watch on YouTube and stuff, and I just walk. Like for the whole time that I was listening to everything, like that's how I managed to lose like almost 80 pounds now. I was 358 pounds. As of this morning, I was down to 282 pounds. You do not need weight loss drugs or anything like that, weight loss pills or anything like that. The only thing you need to do is just walk and jog. I run, just exercise. Just hey, just pop on your show or whatever, and or or whatever, man. Like you do not need to take weight loss supplements or anything. That like I didn't do it like that. But I will say one thing. At the time, like I really didn't believe, like after documenting my blood pressures and my weight every day and stuff, like you gotta do that and stuff to make sure that like you're not gaining weight, you're not having fluid retention and stuff like that. Very big deal with this congestive heart failure. Like you weigh yourself every day, you take your blood pressure multiple times a day. So I will say one thing, like even with the meds that they have me on, I will say that I've noticed like a couple weeks back, like how much my blood pressure had like gone down like significantly, like in the mornings in particular, from where I was when I was almost 80 pounds heavier. Like I'm pretty much like baseline, like where I need to be, like every morning now before I even take my next round of meds in the mornings. Now it's crazy. It's remarkable of the of the improvement of the quality of my quality of life now. But I really didn't believe any of that stuff would work. Like when I first started, I just got out and I just started doing what they said. But let me tell you, it works. It really does work. Losing the weight and taking the meds, like it works. I think a lot of it has to do with losing the weight, because it takes so much stress off your heart. Now you feel a whole lot better. Like I've gotten to the point now where I was walking around like 6 hours a day, and like in less stuff, and like I never thought that I was scared for a long time to like even like start like trying to jog and stuff again. I got to the point where I can do that again. Now not be short of breath and stuff, like just feel normal. But I understand now that like after one, like when you look at the nutritional facts of all the foods and stuff that you were used to eating before and stuff, and you see the sodium content that that you were ingesting in your body every day, like I'm a bit embarrassed to say that I did do this to myself. Like heck, and we're doing like our bad health we're doing to ourselves. I'm still not one like really for fitness or whatever, but I will say that it does work. Keeping that weight off and getting that weight off, like it really does, it significantly improves your life. The things that you're able to do. I went from barely being able to walk a couple feet, man, like almost dying, like trying to catch my breath, to now, man, like I can live my life normally, even though there really isn't a very high life expectancy when once you're diagnosed with congestive heart failure, but like it helps out a lot to get the weight off and to not even like get to a point to where you even have to even worry about doing this stuff to your heart. Just lose the weight. That's all I can tell you. Lose the weight, take care of your body, and your body will take care of you. Have a good one.